Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is April 27th, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. Here's Washington, California here. Cutoff low spinning out over the Pacific Ocean. This is eventually going to get caught up in the westerlies here, merge with this trough, and then it will move towards the west coast and drop down over the state of California as we go through next week. We'll take a look at those details coming up here in a moment. This is looking at the GOES 18 satellite, and if you look closely here, you can see Lake Tulare on the GOES satellite imagery. This is the visible satellite imagery here. You can see the snowpack over the Sierra Nevada, and that's what's really bringing this lake back to life as this snow melt is starting to continue to allow these waters to rise. Looking also, you can see that dense fog across some of the coastal areas there as well, but pretty interesting that you can actually see the lake's redevelopment here on the GOES 18 satellite imagery, and you can see it in this graphic here as well. Lake Tulare down here, Yosemite National Park up there. Now, dense fog along the coast, heads up out there if you're driving around in that. This is mainly during the early morning hours, visibility down to as low as a quarter mile. Now, if you guys want to help join the channel and help throw a couple bucks the channel's way here, you just click on this join button down below when you're watching one of my videos. So if you want to do that, go ahead and click that. Otherwise, click like and subscribe. This is Hanford National Weather Service. You can see the very warm temperatures here. Look at some of these upper 90s here, going towards 100 degrees for Bakersfield by the time you get into Saturday here. And we've got some flood advisories and some watches here with that snow melt occurring as well. This is moderate heat risk. This extends all the way up through some of the Central Valley towards Northern California here. Nice graphic here from the National Weather Service, Sacramento. Now we're looking at 2-meter temperature anomaly. So surface temperatures here. This is the GFS, hot off the presses. Put it into motion and you can see the yin and yang coming here. Look at this, the entire state of California likely going below average as we move in towards early to mid next week coming up here, depending exactly how this trough sets up over the state. But the takeaway from this is that we're definitely going below normal here as we go on in through early May across the state. Now, this is looking at the GFS, this morning's run versus last night's. Let's take a look at this trough as it rolls in here. Cutoff low gets reabsorbed into this trough, sets up off the west coast of North America, drops down over California here. Pretty good agreement with the GFS in of itself here as we go on in through Tuesday late morning. And this trough continues to be over the west coast here, but then you can see some discrepancy emerge as this next trough sets up pretty close to the west coast of North America on this morning's run. But the one last night kind of had this cutoff low emerging over Hawaii with the old remnant cutoff low here now over California. So we've got some auto discrepancy going off into the future, but the main takeaway here is the troughing looks to be pretty close to the west coast of North America. This is the European yesterday afternoon's versus yesterday morning's run. Put that into motion and let's see what the European has to say about the same time frame as the GFS we just looked at. There goes that cutoff low getting absorbed into this trough, sets up shop here on the west coast of North America. You can see a little bit of disagreement here with the European run to run, but for the most part, this trough kind of hanging out over California. That's the main takeaway here, as you can see. Now looking at the GFS, surface-based CAPE. I wanted to show you this because this is probably going to change a bit here as we go. Now we're going on into Sunday, Monday. Now you can see how things start to destabilize, but a lot of this instability stays up over maybe Oregon, Idaho, and Washington here on Tuesday. But there is going to be some CAPE here with that trough coming across the state of California. And I have a feeling this might be uptrending a little bit here with that trough just offshore there. And you get that warm sunshine. Any kind of sun breaks are going to help destabilize with the cold air aloft around the area. We're probably going to be dealing with a thunderstorm threat as we go through mid and later this week and destabilizing things across some of the west coast here. Just looks like maybe the greatest instability might remain a bit north here, but we'll watch that. That can change here over the next few days. This is lightning flash density potential here. This is actually, let's back this up here. Let's go to last night's or yesterday afternoon's European run, and we'll just kind of scroll through here. By the time we go on into Monday, you can see some of the Sierras maybe getting a little bit of thunderstorm action here. And when we go on into Tuesday afternoon, maybe some of Northern California, Sierra Nevadas. And as we go on in through Wednesday, Thursday, you can see we're going to be flirting with this potential for some thunderstorms as we go on in through mid and later this next week coming up. This is looking at the European on the left versus the GFS on the right. Precipitation. State of California is here. So we're going to speed ahead here, and then you'll easily be able to pick up when the trough starts to impact the state. Now, we're going slowly here, but here we go. Sunday, Monday, you can see that precipitation starting. Pretty good agreement on the GFS and the European with the timing of that precipitation as we go through early next week, and you can kind of see the spin in the atmosphere there atmosphere there on off the west coast here, and then you can see some of this precipitation totals coming across California. The European favoring a little bit more south here versus the GFS, but again, those are details we will be working out over the next few days as this gets closer. This is looking at the national blend of models. You can see San Francisco, the cool down coming on in through next week as that trough settles over the area. Same thing for Sacramento. You're going to go from 90s to 70s. McCarran, Las Vegas, you're going to see that cool down coming here as well. As potentially some breezy conditions associated with that trough setting up, especially across some areas of Nevada and the higher terrain, some of the deserts. This is looking at Palm Springs. The temperatures in the hundreds are going to drop down into the 80s here as we go on in through next week. This is Palm Springs, maybe some gusty conditions, as I mentioned, across some of the desert areas as we go on into the early portion of next week. Look at Tonopah, Nevada, for example, here. I kind of pulled that one, showing some gust up towards 50 miles per hour here, showing up towards Monday evening. This is looking at the percentage of snow water content here, percentage of April 1st average. You can see still doing quite well, but the melt has started across some of the area. You can see we're up towards 300% now. Now we're down to 262. So we are starting to melt that snowpack there across a lot of the Sierra Nevadas. This is the 8 to 14 day temperature probability outlook. The entire state is included. 8 to 14 day precipitation probability outlook shown there. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and watch this day by day. This trough setting up here, going to bring some active weather across the state, thunderstorm potential, some precipitation, even a bit of mountain snow is possible with this trough as it sets up here on the west coast of North America. So yeah, thanks you guys for watching. Click like, subscribe if you want to help join. Click that join button down below. And yeah, we will do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.